So today on LinkedIn, I announced that I was planning to start a blog or vlog series or a podcast surrounding domestic violence and the taboo surrounding domestic violence. And I've noticed prior to this, I saw all kinds of obstructions. While I can just go to the park, sit down, whip out my phone and start filming myself and actually do what I want to do. So that's what I'm doing right now. I always think those obstructions are, for instance, there needs to be some sort of a fully fledged plan, or there needs to be a thought out structure before you can start. Which is obviously not the case. You just start, you improvise, you adapt, you overcome. Not necessarily want to talk in memes, but I think it's applicable here. I hope the sound is good. Everything I say can be properly understood, even though there is a plane flying over or whatnot. So just a word of caution. This may hence be very unstructured. So I've been writing on a book about domestic violence and my personal experiences with domestic violence in a relationship that ended about 5 years ago. Started 7 years ago, and the last year was bad in that particular sense. And I've been writing a book about it also I was already trying to write a book right before I entered into that relationship, actually. Just before. It was basically just taking notes, keeping a diary, and me thinking that it was already the groundworks for a fully fledged book, which it wasn't. And I've been rewriting it many, many times, and every time I think, okay, now I have the final product in my hand, I give it to, for instance, a friend or an editor, a friend with some knowledge of literature and writing, and I found out it's not nearly ready yet at all. So I've been cutting bits and pieces and rewriting. So I'm on my latest rewrite. Finished the 4th chapter of 10. But this has been going on for 5 years, mind you. That's a long time to be writing on a book. And it gets like my previous like my last editor. I'm not saying he's fired or anything, but I've just not finished yet with his feedback. So there's not another round yet. Said that sometimes you can have a burnout on a particular thing in your life, for instance an activity, and for me that would be, for instance, writing this particular book. But it also got me thinking, why would I wait with talking about this particular taboo that I say that I want to break through? Why would I wait until this book is published? If it even ever gets published, I don't know. I should seriously consider that it does not get published at all. Having said that, there are other ways as well, of course, which is, for instance, making videos of yourself in the park and talking about the experiences. So one of the other obstructions I had in my mind was it needs to be some sort of interview. I find it hard to talk about myself, about certain things, I guess. But in general, I don't think it's easy just to talk about yourself. It's much easier if it's in a conversation where you have another person in front of you. You ask each other questions. So what do you do? where do you live, where do you come from, what is your sexual preference, I don't know. There's many things you can talk about, but if I just start talking about my experiences with domestic violence, that's kind of weird. What is the prompt, right? Well, that's what I think, and maybe something I should overcome. So, yeah, let me just start from the very beginning. It's just basically following the order of the book and following the plot of the book, which makes it easier for me. It's also easy because it's about me, so I should be able to follow most of it. I hope you can too. So where it starts is when I was working as a freelance copywriter, and I was insecure about my job, about what I wanted in life, in more general terms, and what I wanted in my love life. More specifically, I had just come out of also a 2-year relationship, and I didn't know what it was. It hit me hard that that didn't work out. In the end, it was like a flashbulb relationship, as we call it in the Netherlands, meaning it went on and off, and we pushed each other away, then kept pulling back. I know I was pushing her away, kept pulling her back, for sure, not physically, by the way, but in a figurative sense. Yeah, I really thought at that moment, when I was 24, 25, that was the love of my life. But things didn't turn out the way I had hoped or I had wanted to, and I don't think I could have, even if I wanted to. I just didn't have the tools to make it work. But yeah, this shattered me enough and left me heartbroken enough that I didn't want to dive into another relationship right that moment, and I decided to make use of my good looks, if I can be so say that about myself, which worked. I had sort of several things going on, and that was fine, but it was also only to mask my insecurity, I guess, the insecurity that I felt because of my job, because I didn't know what I wanted in my love life. And I joined a network club, business BNI, don't know what the abbreviation stands for anymore, Business Network International, pardon me. And yeah, that also didn't work out. It felt like a very short relationship where I had to put in a lot of work, had to get up early every week, which is not really anything bad. I was just not motivated for it. You went to these breakfasts, you presented yourself every week again. Someone gave a longer presentation of 15 minutes about their business, and I was dreading the moment that I would have to do that, because I didn't know what my business was about at all. I was a copywriter. I was like, I didn't know how much money I should ask for my services. I didn't know how to acquire new customers. I was intimidated by doing my own administration. So there's a lot of stress going on. So at some point I said, okay, I'm gonna do it completely differently. I'm gonna quit the network club. I'm gonna look for something else. I'm gonna, at least for the moment, look for a job in a store. Eventually ended up working in a cheese store, which is a whole different story, but I'll get to that in another episode, I suppose. And I also thought it would be good to stop with screwing around, literally, and I commit myself again to a relationship, because deep down that's what I always wanted, and that's what I still want, what I have right now, for which I am very, very grateful. So that's what I decided. I thought I'm gonna do it completely different, and that's also when I decided to start writing a book, or at least to keep notes of everything that had happened up until that point, including my previous relationship and what else was to come, and make that into a story. So I haven't gotten anywhere near the parts that are about domestic violence, but I think it's instrumental to know the context, because that's what's necessary to break the taboo around talking about domestic violence. It's not just a slap in the face, or a knee to the balls, or something being thrown to your head. There's so many things leading up to it, which, if you know that, it will make you understand why these things happen. At least, certainly, creating the context for me has helped me understand why these things happen. And for me, it's important to know, right? Because it's my life. As a viewer, you might think, yeah, I couldn't care less. And that's fine. I respect that. I don't care whether you are interested in it or not. So I'm not here to convince you. I'm here simply to tell my story. So that's what I'm going to do. So, short summary of this episode, I guess, is, lower your expectations. That's first. And I decided to overthrow my life because I was insecure about work, love, and life in general. And I wanted to get rid of that. And the way I did that, and I've done in the past, was make radical decisions. So I quit the Business Network International, which I was very briefly a part of. I decided I was going to quit doing my copywriting, which I didn't do immediately. I wanted to go from one job to another, of course. I didn't want to increase my insecurity. And to find a relationship. So that's it for now. See you on the next one.